Hello, my name is Giselle Moreno, and this is my initial reaction questionnaire. So, the first thing I think of when I hear the term DLL or the images that come to my mind is more of my childhood. I think of my childhood because the elementary school that I went to was actually a dual immersion program. So, the elementary school is a little different. We have traditional school where it's like all kids are in either kinder through sixth grade or kinder through fifth grade, and it's all English. But at my elementary school, it was tracks. So we had a blue track, red track, yellow track, and green track. And the blue track was the Spanish program. And then the other three tracks were just regular English. And I was on blue track. So I was in the Spanish program from kinder through fourth grade. And then fifth grade, I went to another elementary school and I was no longer in the Spanish program. But we had a lot of dual language learner children. A lot of the kids that I went to school with spoke Spanish first. And a lot of us, I think all of us were pretty much Mexican. Maybe there was one white girl that I can remember, but everyone else was pretty much Mexican. But a lot of us spoke Spanish first, and then English was the second language. So that school is really unique, and it still exists today. I want to get my daughter into it. She's only 3, going to be 4. But it really has helped me, and that is the reason why I know English. And that is the reason why I know Spanish, is because I went through that program. I know how to read, write, understand, and speak Spanish. My Spanish is a little iffy now that I got older and I don't practice it as much, but I can still speak it pretty well. So that's what comes to my mind. And then the challenges I think DLL's experience in early childhood education settings is that we don't have a lot of qualified staff that are able to speak the language of a DLL student. So it's not only, children that speak Spanish, it could be children that speak Mandarin or, other languages that a lot of people don't really speak. And I feel like that's a challenge, because if we don't have the staff or the teachers to help those children, then it's like, how are we going to help their families? And how are the families going to be involved with their child's education if there's going to be that language barrier? The challenges I think ECE settings face in supporting DLLs is the challenges I think that early childhood education settings face is kind of like what I was saying, is that we don't have enough qualified teachers that speak other languages. I feel like the majority of the language that other people do speak is Spanish. But some people aren't fluent. Like, for example, for me, at my job at the child care center I work at, when I have conversations with the parents that speak Spanish, I can understand them well. I know exactly what they're saying. However, when I'm trying to conversate back with them about their child, I get stumped a little bit, and I'm just like, wait, how do I say this? And I'm just like, how do I conjugate the words? Sometimes I get the words kind of confused. So sometimes I have parents look at me kind of like, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. But I know that I feel like that's a challenge. And the assets I think DLL students bring to ECE settings. The assets that I think that DLL students or children bring to ECE settings is that since they speak another language, they're able to teach their peers or even conversate with their peers in their language, and children pick up on things so quick. Their brains are like sponges. So I see this all the time at my job. Like, we will have children that speak only English, and they will talk with their peers, and the child that speaks Spanish will be like, I want agua. which is I want water. And then next thing you know, the child that only speaks English will be like, I want agua, I want agua. Or they'll be like other simple words in Spanish like baño. I have to go baño, I have to go potty, you know? Or tengo que ir al baño, which is I have to go to the bathroom. So then the other kids will also pick up on that language and they'll say, I go baño, or I need to go potty, baño, you know how kids are. So I feel like that's an asset. Should DLL be taught in their first language? So I feel like DLL children should be taught in their native language first, just so they can feel comfortable, and then slowly start introducing English, because I've heard that English is a hard language to learn. Like, for example, my husband, he was born in Mexico, and he came here as a child. In elementary school, he struggled a lot. He says he didn't really have any friends, because the school that he went to was majority white kids, and he was like the only Mexican child that only spoke Spanish. So he didn't have a lot of friends for like a year or two. And it made him hate school, because he was like, why am I here? Like, I can't even talk to anyone. I can't understand the teachers. He had a very hard time learning and picking up on the material that they were teaching at school. And he would have to go to resource classes. And in high school, he said he would take English with support, you know. So I feel like the children should be taught in their language first and then English, just so it can, you know, help them kind of understand, like, okay, they can speak the language I speak. It makes me feel comfortable. And then slowly learn English. What time is it? So if I were a parent of a DLL child in the early childhood education setting, I would like to know, you know, resources of how can I help my child with their homework, you know? And it's like, if I don't speak English, I want to go to maybe after school classes, or, you know, so I can understand and help my child, because I wouldn't want my child to fall behind. I would go to, like, as I mentioned, after school classes, or to see if there's any like online resources that I can utilize, like maybe watch some videos, like educating videos and stuff like that, or even attending like Zoom meetings and stuff. That's some resources that I would like, or even like pamphlets or flyers I feel like would work for me. So some strategies or resources that I think should be present in the ECE settings to help DLLs develop early literacy language skills is, you know, maybe having some one-on-one time with the child, you know, like maybe for example, for circle time is more of the group, and I feel like the child can easily get distracted, you know, and of course they still learn as they're participating in circle time, but I feel like when you're doing that one-on-one, it's more personal, it's more intimate, you know, so I feel like that the child can focus more, you know, and then start reading books or start looking at images of, you know, if there's an apple, a picture of an apple, you could be like, this is an apple, it's a manzana. Manzana is apple. And then read like short stories, you know, like we don't have to read like stories that have a couple pages and a couple sentences, you know, just start off basic, just so they could start picking up the basics of the language. I think that would help. And then in ECE setting should be, I don't think the DLL children should be assessed as the children that are not, just because the children that are not DLL and they speak English, I feel like they're most likely gonna score higher, because that is their language. They know exactly what to expect, And for the children that are DLLs, they might have a little bit more trouble understanding the assessment. So I feel like DLL students should have their own assessment, and then the children that are not DLL, they should have a separate assessment, just so it gives them that fairness, you know? So, and I hope within time, which I do see happening, that we do get more qualified teachers and teachers that are trained in different languages, just so we can support our children and they can grow successful in school.